From a foundry worker narrowly escaping a dangerous wet charge, and a steam boiler explosion that blew a 10-meter hole in a factory wall, to a failed crane demolition in Scotland you have to see to believe, and much more. Here are 5 industrial accidents that were caught on camera. Slag pots are an essential tool for foundries around the world. The purpose of these pots is to collect and transport the molten slag from the iron furnace to a designated disposal site. The pots are made of durable materials that can withstand high temperatures and are designed to contain the liquid slag without spilling. When things go wrong, though, the consequences can be extreme. In 2017, one foundry learned this lesson the hard way. Security cameras captured the moment molten iron was poured into the slag pot. Almost immediately, the pot began to overflow. As the seconds passed, things only got worse. The liquid metal spilled across the floor, quite literally turning it to lava. It really puts it into perspective how dangerous these mills can be. The most likely explanation we've been able to find is that they experienced what's known as a washout. This is when a hole melts into the side of the furnace pouring the molten metal. To avoid the liquid iron damaging other equipment, they turn the furnace to pour everything directly into the slag pot, not just the slag, leading to the catastrophic overflow we saw in this clip. Working in a foundry is a dangerous job, with a high risk of accidents and injury. One of the most hazardous tasks in a foundry is handling a wet charge. When water comes into contact with molten metal, it can cause a sudden and violent explosion, sending hot metal flying in all directions. In late December of 2019, that is exactly what happened in this factory. Luckily, everybody involved walked away uninjured. When the video starts, you see a forklift driver carrying a load of scrap metal towards the furnace. As soon as the furnace doors open and he dumps it in, the molten metal sprays out, covering the forklift and the factory floor. And it only gets worse from there. Smoke quickly fills the screen as the operator slams the machine into reverse. Miraculously, he manages to drive out of the building and to safety. A similar accident occurred at this steel mill back in 2013, except this time, the results were a little more violent. Much like the first example, everybody involved was okay. The one worker standing near the furnace made it safely inside a room before the accident even occurred. But you can only imagine how big of a cleanup job that must have been. I mean, it looks like part of the roof was even blown down. Accidents like these are all too common in foundries, making following strict safety protocol all the more important. The city of Guayaquil is the largest and the busiest port city in Ecuador, playing a vital role in the country's economy. Here, you'll find the Contecon Terminal, one of the largest container terminals in South America, handling millions of tons of cargo every year. It was in this bustling city that a fateful incident occurred in April of 2010, when the Liberia-flagged container ship CCNI Antarctico hit a gantry crane at the Contecon Terminal on its maiden voyage. The impact was catastrophic as the massive crane collapsed under the weight of the collision. Reports state that the CCNI Antarctico container ship had brushed against another vessel at berth before plowing into one of the 3 gantry cranes at the Contecon facility. Despite the chaos, there were no injuries, but the crane was seriously damaged beyond repair. The aftermath of the incident saw the Contecon terminal suffer considerable losses and a long road to recovery. Years later, a similar disaster occurred at a dockyard in Fife, Scotland. But this one wasn't the fault of a rogue ship, but rather a planned demolition gone horribly wrong. On a quiet morning in early May of 2022, a demolition crew was hired to remove an old crane at the dockyard. The crane, a Butters Brothers & Co. legacy from the 50s, was a familiar feature on the town's skyline, even though it had not been in use for some time. As the specialist contractor began the demolition, things took a dramatic turn. Security cameras show the topside element of the crane suddenly roll backwards and crash into the water of the west dock in the port. Fortunately, no one was injured. The team from Forth Ports and the demolition contractor quickly took control of the situation and began assessing the best way to recover the structure from the dock. The aftermath of the incident was a sad end for an iconic piece of equipment from Burnt Island's industrial heyday. Some oil and a gearbox did leak into the water, but was quickly contained. Nevertheless, the incident showed the importance of safety in such delicate and dangerous operations, and that sometimes even the professionals can make mistakes of epic proportions. On May 15th of 2022, near the Saudi Arabian town of Tehran, security cameras at a gas station captured a terrifying and unexpected scene. When the video starts, all looks normal. You see some vehicles at pumps in the background, but keep your attention on the underground tanks closest to the camera. Without warning, the lids all pop off, and the entire thing bursts into a massive fireball. It's too bad the camera didn't record audio, because that definitely would have been one hell of a boom. The cause of the incident is unclear, but some experts believe it might be due to a faulty or unused vapor recovery system. As fuel flows into the tanks, the pressure inside builds up, and if the vapor recovery system is not functioning properly, the pressure relief valve can be overwhelmed, leading to an explosion under the right circumstances. Luckily, there were no injuries reported. Steam boilers are vessels that generate steam by heating water using fuel. They're commonly used in industrial and commercial settings. However, when not properly maintained or operated, they can be prone to explosions. When one explodes, the results can be catastrophic. In early 2012, a video captured the explosion of a traditional fire tube steam boiler, which caused extensive damage to the warehouse. At 1:50 p.m., you see the last worker leave the room. A few seconds later, the boiler erupts, blocking out the camera. A few aftermath pictures show the massive hole that was blown into the side of the building. Just imagine the force needed to rip apart metal like that. The boiler itself traveled some 30 meters, ending up in a totally different area of the factory. It was later determined that the cause of the explosion was a combination of factors, including corrosion and inadequate maintenance of the boiler's safety valves. It's important to note that incidents like this cannot happen with a Clayton steam generator, which utilizes a unique design that ensures safe and efficient operation without the risk of explosion. Like all videos featured on this channel, the disaster did not cause any injuries. Well, that's all we have for you today. But if you enjoyed this video and want to see another just like it, then be sure to click the link on screen now. With that, thanks for watching, and be sure to tune in next time.